He looks like MJ. He plays with the same killer instinct. And right now, he's one of the most unstoppable one-man offenses in basketball. But what makes Anthony Edwards even more special is that he's not just a star on the court. He's hilarious, confident, and charismatic, the kind of player fans instantly connect with. Ant has quickly become one of the new faces of the NBA, but his rise to superstardom was anything but easy. His life was filled with heartbreak and tragedy, and for a long time, basketball wasn't even his main dream. He thought he'd be catching touchdowns in the NFL, not throwing down posters in the NBA. While most players get their nicknames when they hit the league, Anthony got his at just 3 years old when his father called him Ant-Man. But outside of the name and a little bit of athletic DNA, his father wasn't really around. It was his mother and grandmother who raised him, pushed him, and cheered for him every step of the way. This is the insane rise of Anthony Edwards.
Early life and shift to basketball. Before he was flying over defenders, Ant-Man was terrorizing kids on the football field. At just 7 years old, Anthony Edwards was bigger, faster, and stronger than everyone else, built with huge hands, long legs, and explosive calves that made him look like a future NFL star. Coaches thought he could be anything: a running back, a cornerback, maybe even the next great wide receiver. His mom pushed him toward football, believing it was his family's ticket out of poverty. But everything changed at 13. During a game, Anthony broke his left ankle so badly that he limped to school for months. Most kids would have quit, but Ant came back different, almost superhuman. His left leg turned into a spring, giving him insane bounce, and at 14, he threw down his first dunk. That one moment lit a fire in him. The football dream faded, and basketball became his obsession. Suddenly, Ant wasn't just another kid from Atlanta. He was a future superstar, ready to shatter rims and rewrite his destiny.
Training with Justin Holland. Even though Ant bulldozed through opponents with raw athleticism, his game was still far from polished. That all changed when he met Justin Holland, an Atlanta-based trainer who saw greatness in the 14-year-old kid. Holland wasn't easy on him. He pushed Ant's buttons, challenged him, and gave him the same tough love that Ant's mother had always shown him. And Anthony responded. The workouts were brutal, the kind that left him exhausted on the floor, but he always came back wanting more. Night after night, the two of them would grind in the gym, often spending so much time together that Holland admitted he saw Ant more than his own family. At first, the focus was on shooting, decision-making, and ball handling, because everyone knew Edwards could explode to the rim, but he couldn't shoot consistently. Ant looked at Holland one day and said, "If I get a jumper, nobody can stop me." And he was right. He locked himself in the gym while his classmates were out partying, choosing sweat and sacrifice over shortcuts. Holland pushed, Ant worked, and slowly, the kid who was once just a freak athlete started transforming into a complete basketball player, hungry to prove that he wasn't just hype, he was the real deal. Tragedy struck hard on January 5th, 2015, when Anthony was just 14 years old. His mother, the heart of his world, lost her fight with cancer. Only 8 months later, his grandmother, the second rock in his life, passed from the same disease. In less than a year, Ant lost the two women who raised him and believed in him the most. His older siblings, still teenagers themselves, took custody of him, but they had little money and no stability. Anthony bounced from home to home, living in chaos that could have crushed anyone's spirit. But instead of breaking, he used the pain as fuel. He started wearing number 5, a constant tribute to his mom and grandma, both of whom died on the 5th of the month. Every bucket, every dunk, every moment on the court became a way to honor them, and that fire inside pushed him to keep going when most kids his age would have given up.
High school was a huge challenge for Anthony. He made a life-changing move when he transferred from a public school to Holy Spirit Prep, knowing that if he wanted to chase his dream, he had to fix his grades.
Suddenly, he was in a strict environment, with uniforms, long commutes, and daily mass, feeling like he didn't belong. To give himself the best shot at a scholarship, he even reclassified to graduate early, piling on more classes while still grinding through practices and extra workouts with his trainer Justin Holland. The schedule was brutal. Some days he was so drained that he'd collapse in a teacher's office and sleep on the carpet just to recover enough energy for practice. But Anthony never stopped pushing. He carried his team to a state championship as a junior, then exploded as a senior, averaging 29 points and 10 rebounds. By the end of high school, the kid who once dreamed of being an NFL star was now a consensus top 5 basketball recruit in the nation, with the entire country watching his next move.
College career at Georgia. Edwards had offers from everywhere, but chose the Georgia Bulldogs, wanting to stay close to home and trusting coach Tom Crean, the same man who developed Dwayne Wade and Victor Oladipo, players he felt he could follow in the footsteps of. From the moment he stepped on campus, his potential was obvious. His vertical leap was already measured at 39.5 inches, and after just 2 months of grinding, he pushed it to 41.5. In his very first college game, he exploded for 24 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 steals, breaking Dominique Wilkins' record for most points in a Bulldogs debut. Soon after, he dropped 37 points in a single game, something no Georgia player had done since 1975. Ant-Man was putting his name on the map. He finished the season averaging 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, earning SEC Freshman of the Year honors. But for every highlight, there were still questions. His shooting percentages, 40% from the field and 29% from 3, had scouts worried. Too often, he settled for bad shots, chucking threes instead of using his freakish athleticism to attack the rim. He'd coast through possessions, sometimes disengaged on defense, sometimes missing obvious passes. And then came the comments. In interviews, Edwards casually admitted that if he could, he'd rather play in the NFL, that football was still his first love. For NBA teams considering a #1 pick, hearing a top prospect say basketball wasn't even his favorite sport raised red flags. Was this kid really committed? Did he care enough to become a superstar? To some, he looked like another raw athlete with potential but no drive. To others, they saw flashes of something bigger, a young man with the talent to change a franchise if he ever put it all together.
College career at Georgia. NBA rookie season and rise to stardom. Despite the doubts, Anthony Edwards' talent was too special to pass up, and the Minnesota Timberwolves made him the #1 pick in the 2020 NBA draft. With the first pick, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Anthony Edwards, the commissioner announced. And though his mother and grandmother had passed years earlier, their spirit was with him in that moment. When the 2021 season began after the pandemic hiatus, Ant wasted no time proving Minnesota right. From day one, he was a professional bucket getter. His explosive first step left defenders in the dust, and his strength let him finish through contact with either hand. His ability to dribble and pull up from either side, combined with step-backs and sidestep jumpers, made him unpredictable and nearly unguardable. And when all else failed, his freakish athleticism always delivered. With dunks so violent, they instantly went viral and turned him into a must-watch player. Edwards finished his rookie year averaging 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, placing second in Rookie of the Year voting behind LaMelo Ball. But it wasn't just his game that made him stand out. Off the court, fans fell in love with his humor and personality. Confident, playful, unapologetically himself. In interviews, he cracked jokes, even bragging about his baseball days. "I was a 4/5 hitter. You know what that means? Cleanup. Straight cleanup. On a 3, come get it." With that mix of charisma and raw talent, it became clear that Anthony Edwards wasn't just another draft pick, he was the beginning of something special in Minnesota.
Growth and playoff success with the Timberwolves. Before his sophomore year, Anthony Edwards grew to 6'6" with a 6'9" wingspan, and with that growth came a new level of confidence. His jumper started to fall, and he wasn't just attacking the rim anymore, he was becoming a complete scorer. He raised his effective field goal percentage from 49 to 53%, while averaging 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. More than the numbers, he brought a winning attitude. The Timberwolves, once irrelevant, made the playoffs for the first time in 4 years, and only the second since 2004. In his playoff debut against Memphis, Ant exploded for 36 points and 6 assists in a Game 1 win. The Wolves lost the series in 6, but Edwards was their top scorer, averaging 25 points on over 40% from 3. It was a sign that under pressure, he delivered. Minnesota traded for Rudy Gobert to strengthen their defense, but even at 21, Ant became the team's leader. In his third season, he averaged 24.6 points and made his first All-Star team. Then came the playoffs, where he proved he was best when it mattered most. Against Denver, he scored 41 points in Game 2, the most ever by a Timberwolf in the postseason. He followed with 36 in Game 3, joining Kobe Bryant with the second most 30-point playoff games before turning 22. In Game 4, he tallied 34 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks, drilling a clutch 3 in an overtime win. Minnesota fell in the series, but Edwards averaged 31 points, leading all scorers. By the 2023-24 season, whispers that he might be next grew louder. The Wolves won 56 games, the second-best record in franchise history, and Edwards posted 26 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists, earning another All-Star nod. In the playoffs, he turned into a superstar. Against the Suns, he averaged 31 points on 51% shooting and 44% from 3, leading Minnesota to a sweep, their first playoff series win in 20 years. He also passed Kevin Garnett for the most 30-point playoff games in team history. In Round 2 against Denver, down 3-2, Ant refused to fold. In Game 6, he put up 27 points and 3 steals in a 45-point win. Then he helped push Minnesota to its first conference finals in 20 years. They lost to Dallas, but by then, Edwards had already captured the league's attention. The stats were elite, but it was his swagger, fire, and fearlessness that won fans over. The kid who once dreamed of the NFL had become the Timberwolves' savior and one of the NBA's brightest young stars.
Ant-Man has everything you'd want in a superstar. The confidence, the stats, the highlights that make your jaw drop. But what really sets Anthony Edwards apart is his character. He jokes about his fake jewelry, he laughs in interviews, and even after a tough loss, he points the finger at himself instead of his teammates. That accountability, that joy, and that fire are what make him special. At just 22 years old, Edwards isn't just a rising star. He's already the face of a franchise, and maybe the future face of the NBA. And with the way he keeps improving every single season, you know he's going to shine brightest when the lights are at their highest. Thanks for watching Nonstop. If you love this story, make sure to check out the other NBA videos we've got waiting for you. Now let me ask you, do you think Anthony Edwards can lead the Timberwolves to their first ever NBA Finals?